What's going on, guys? Kulprit here, and welcome back again to my Let's Play series. This time I'm excited to bring a new game, new content, a game that is like just totally taken up residence in my mind. I'm obsessed with it. It's called Oxygen Not Included. It's developed by Clay. I believe that's how it said. Clay Rhymes with Play is their Twitch series. Clay developers, I don't even know the name of the real company, but they are the development team that basically brought you the Don't Starve series, a game that's been highly recommended to me, just never really caught my attention. I never dove into it. But numerous, viewers, commenters, friends have just, and other streamers actually have recommended Don't Starve to me and Don't Starve Together and all the DLCs with it. And it just gets high ratings, and everybody feels like knowing how I play, the content I post and things like that, that I would really enjoy it. It just never grabbed me. So when about last week, I was tipped to this game. I knew nothing, I was not aware of this game at all because I don't really follow the Don't Starve series. A good friend of mine recommended this to me, said it'd be right up your alley. I took a look at it, and since it was from a development team I've heard so many good things about and have been so good about supporting their games, I looked into it really quick. I watched a little developer stream. I just dove in. I bought it. It's $20. As far as I know, right now on February 22nd, you cannot buy this game directly through Steam. That'll probably change in the future. You have to go to their forums, find a thread in there, and then there's a link on their forums to Steam that you can purchase it for $20 US. It's a little, they're just kind of keeping it a little obscure right now because they want to make sure anybody buying this game understands that it's an alpha game. It's a game that needs very, very good balancing to be fun and be challenging. And right now the balance is a little off. Still very fun. Still a great experience. So they don't just want the masses going out to Steam buying this and then complaining like, oh, this game's too hard and give me a refund and all that. So they're just kind of, they're filtering the casual public out and just making sure people that know and really want the game can get it. You got to go through a couple extra hoops. If I recall, and if I forget, just remind me in the comments, I will post a link down below in the description so you guys can more easily find it. If you're watching this in future, it's probably already out on Steam, and I hope you're having a good time with it. So this game, again, is Oxygen Not Included. It's basically been described to me, and one of the reasons I grabbed it right away, as Rimworld meets Terraria. And as most of you guys know, I'm a big fan of Rimworld. Big fan of Rimworld. It's one of my all-time favorite games, if not my favorite game of all time. It's hard to go back and think about when I was younger and playing consoles, and I was like a latchkey kid, and I mean, literally all I did was sit in front of like my Super NES and PlayStation and all these. So I'm sure there's games back in those days that had like more hours. But I mean, if I had to wager, I'd easily say I have over 1,000 hours in Rimworld. I mean, I have hundreds of hours of Rimworld uploaded to this channel alone, and then there's games I played before. I unfortunately can't look because I was playing on the pre-Steam client for so long. So anytime you compare a game to Rimworld, that really gets my attention. And then they compared it to Terraria, which obviously the side-scrolling nature of it obviously looks good. Terraria is another one that never really grabbed my attention, but I know a lot of people that I know and I respect, and their opinion mean a lot to me, and they love that game. Again, very good game. So I was very excited to check this out. It was like an insta-buy in that case. And so here we are. We're going to do Oxygen Not Included. I'm going to kind of give you my experiences. I probably have 10 to about 10 hours experience in this game. I didn't want to come from any kind of expert stance, but I definitely wanted to have some basis of understanding on the game. My goal here immediately in this game is to kind of first stage, get a 100 cycle colony, nice, stable. That could definitely go haywire. I'm actually quite nervous about playing this game in front of you guys because you can make critical mistakes, and unlike Rimworld where I say you make a mistake and it could be 4 hours later that your colony dies and you realize that you made that mistake 4 hours ago. In this game, you make a mistake, it happens in very real time, and you usually spiral out of control and die rapidly. But we're going to do that, and I'm going to try to go on my best practices I've developed, not just through this game, but through other games, and we'll talk about it. And by all means, I'm not coming at you from an expert's perspective, not at all. And if I give you any tips or any suggestions, that's just the best practice I've developed. I would love to hear your comments on like what works for you guys. Debate me on anything I may say. Don't be afraid to say I'm wrong, because chances are I am, and I look forward to that debate and banter back and forth. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I just kind of advanced here because one of the first things I do is I pick my colonists in a certain way. I take destructive. I prefer destructive as a stress response. There's a lot of talk right now, and one of the things I love about this game right now is the timing. And if you're watching this future, you might not have this liberty. Right now, there's no like YouTuber or Reddit thread or Twitch streamer that you can go to and be like, this is how you play this game. This is how you infinitely supply yourself with oxygen. This is how you have water forever. Like there's no solutions right now. Everybody's trying to figure this game out. Last week, everybody was crying because water ran out and there was no way to have an infinite colony in that way. You couldn't be self-sustaining via water. Well, now as the days have gone on and more people have played and played and played with that in mind, they've discovered that actually water is not the problem. You can find plenty of contaminated water. You can filter that water into clean water as long as you're very conservative with that water. And in certain mechanics, you can do that. We're going to get into that. Water isn't really your determining factor. Now, the devs have said this game is not sustainable at this time. The maps are finite. They're not infinite. I believe they're working towards making them just, randomly generated. So you could be infinite. Eventually, the production to go acquire goods and bring them back is going to be too much. But yes, there's finite resources in your map, so you can't indefinitely play this game. It's basically a game where you're trying to survive for as long as you possibly can. I compare it to Martian, the movie Martian, where the guy gets left on the moon, or where did he get? Mars? I think Mars, right? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Mars. And he knows he's there. He's got finite resources. He's got to survive as long as he can, and he does rationing and all these tricks and things. That's how I feel this game is playing. I know I'm going to die, but I would need to extend it as long as possible. So that's what we're going to do. I forgot my train of thought here now. But like I was saying, people were complaining that water was the reason that you can't go. Well, we've kind of solved that and realized that water is not the issue. What is the issue right now? The real finite resource is sand. And sand is the only filtration agent in the game. You need sand to filter that water. You need sand to filter the contaminated water into fresh water. And that's the problem. You run out of sand, you can't filter the water. Now you run out of fresh water and you die. It's also used in kind of air scrubbers and stuff, which are important, but not necessarily vital. Now there's theories out there, and this is what I'm talking about, this timing here. Excuse me 1 second. My dog was crying because he's old and he won't jump up on the couch behind me, and I don't want you guys to have to hear that. Because, of course, they have to be right next to me at all times. Now, the cool thing about this game is nobody knows what's possible. We know that the changing states of matter, and I apologize for the single screen, but this is the setup for the series. And you guys actually usually like these kind of setup talks, so I like to do them. Sets the tone, sets the goals. Now you guys can more easily follow along with me. The devs have showed us that you can change matter. You can boil water, you can freeze gases and things like this. We don't know exactly how it all works, but we know it is possible. So the theory now is to bypass that shortage of sand and that bottleneck and that finite resource. The idea is you can pipe contaminated water down towards the magma. Think down towards the core of the earth where it's very hot. You evaporate that contaminated water. You take the vapor and then you condense it higher up when it gets cold, and then it turns into water and it filters it. It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's not contaminated anymore. It's clean water. You've purified it. And then you can pump that clean water up to your colony, to your base, and there you go. You've bypassed that bottleneck of sand, and now you can prolong your colony even further. So people are trying to take these and figure out these mechanics and these systems, and it's like the Wild West in space, if that makes any sense. Where there's no definitive answer. Nobody's decided that this is the meta yet. It's gonna happen quickly, pretty sure. But right now, there's no understanding of that, and so it's fun to play. It's fun to read the Reddit and be like, yo, I've tried this, and maybe if we did this, and then people talk theories, and then somebody who has a lot of time to play comes in and be like, all right, I tested that, and this is what I got. It's actually really cool. I haven't experienced anything like that with a game in a long time, so I just wanted to mention that. It's been very enjoyable. But here we go. Here are my guys, and this is why I take quite a bit of time. I shuffle. I want to get destructive, and I want to get diver's lungs. There's two reasons for this. Destructive means when they get overstressed, they run around your base and they break something. Sounds bad, and some people are like, yeah, but if they break like something critical, your whole colony can spiral out of control. Very true, but I would say that's not the problem with destruction. That would be a problem with your design. There should be no element so crucial in your base that if someone's stressed out, first of all, you shouldn't let them get stressed out, but if they then break that single element and your base spirals out of death, that's bad design. That's not really bad choosing of a character. The reason I like destructive is it's a singular event by a singular person, and it's very narrow in focus, and I can deal with it, and I can fix it very quickly using a very narrow focus. The other option you have, and I'm not going to shuffle it, is a vomiter. And some people are projecting, so that theory crafting I'm talking about, that if you use all vomiters, you actually stress them out, they will throw up, you can collect that, and then you can purify that. And you could have this water from nothing generation, and then that would sustain your life even further. As far as I know, it is the only way to create water from nothing currently. So some people are actually doing this. They're making a colony of vomiters. They're stressing them out. They're letting them puke all over while they do work. The contaminated water filters to the bottom. They purify that either via sand or, like I'm saying, the evaporation process. And they stay, self-sustaining in that way. I don't really like that. It kind of seems a little bit out of the boundaries of what you're supposed to be doing. Cool mechanic, cool idea, cool theory crafting, just not one I'm going to venture down at this time. if you do vomiters are a spreading stress mechanism. Somebody throws up, other people have to come in, they step in it, or they have to clean it up. It raises their stress level. It's a multiplier. It just makes that one person who's stress broke. Now you're gonna have 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, and you can very quickly start breaking and stressing. And if you're not going for that vomit colony, it's very bad for your colony. And I've lost 2 colonies to this vomit spiral. So I don't do vomit anymore. I won't pick any new copied. Everybody's destructive. And that's just the way I go. Now, diver's lungs, it basically just means they consume, a quarter less oxygen. Always very helpful in a space environment when oxygen is one of the necessary resources for life. It's not hugely that big a deal because I actually produce plenty of oxygen. There may be other ones that I would, switch up. The only reason I do this is it helps in the beginning. It also helps on these guys that go out and maybe mine in bad gas or underwater and things like that. Since I have direct control of my guys here, and I can shuffle and re-roll, I just go with this route. I will then complement. See, right now I don't have a very good learner. I'll complement my roster through the duplicate generation. You'll see that, and kind of round out my team that way. I don't accept guys every time. I'm very selective about who I get. I'm usually about 6 duplicates. I keep lean. I keep small. I don't want a big colony. I don't really need it. It takes more time for bigger projects, but it's much, much easier to manage. You're using up less oxygen. You're producing less contamination. You're using up a lot less water. It's just better. So 6 is about my sweet spot right now, but that's debatable. We might experiment with that. So without further ado, I think we're okay here. We have 2 guys that cannot do research. Not a problem as long as one person can, even though they're not great. And then I think the first guy I get, I'm going to kind of look for a researcher. Scaredy Cat can't do combat. Combat's not a big thing in this game. It's not a big problem. I don't really have a medic. Again, medicine and sickness is not really in the alpha right now. It's not a huge concern. So I've got athletics. That's very good for power production in the beginning. You literally run on a hamster wheel. I don't have a very good miner, which is a problem. I would like to have a miner, but it is what it is. Decor expectations are, this is great. This is pretty good. This is not too bad, but we have ways to dealing with it. But I want to get into the game with you guys. We got about 12 minutes here. We got about 10 more minutes before this episode's over. So I'd like to get at least a little started. We'll talk about the landing base. I don't know what we have. It's going to be very important to get a good one. This is the name they gave me, and I love it. The Lunar Trainwreck. I mean, that's basically the one I like. I had one the other day, was like Future Tomb. I was like, that's perfect. So we are going to hit this embark button. I think we're all good here. Let's see what we get. This is really the first instance of like hugely important RNG for this game. And we get the little notice, and then we're going to immediately pause the game. Okay, so we've got some fresh water. This is fantastic. I'm just already thinking to strategize. We don't see too much here. We've got some plants up here. We don't have we got one plant there I like. I like to get into mealwoods immediately. I try not to cook if I can avoid it. Cooking uses up a tremendous amount of water. Cooking and researching use up just so much water. It's just not a good thing to do. There's another mealwood there. So we got a couple we can get early on. Now, what I'm looking at here is I'm trying to formulate, I'm trying to look at, we got some good sand. That's great. We're going to have sand pretty early. I mean, you always have sand early. I used to do a design concept I called the bathtub. And I kind of got it from the Twin Towers and the Freedom Tower Plaza and stuff, how they design it. Now, they design it that way, with the bathtub in mind, to keep the seawater out, the pressure from the rivers and stuff from filling up the basement. I do the opposite. I build this bathtub to catch all water and make it easier to transport water that's up high. Then I could just dig a tunnel and the water can fall, because it could get really slow and laborious to pump all the water, but then you still have to pump anything that's below you, so I'm not finding it as useful as I theorized I might. So one of my biggest things for me, one of the most important factors for me, is my clean water tank. And what I've particularly been doing is I have a clean water tank, dirty water tank, right? And then you move one from the other as you filter it, you dump into the, you get the idea. Trust me, it's going to be a huge focal facet of this build. But what I've been doing is putting this water in the middle here. And I'm not liking that, because then it makes it hard to move all the air, because there's a big water tank in the middle, and then your oxygen production has to go around it, creates vacuums. It's kind of weird. So what I think we're going to do this time is we're going to move our freshwater tank off to the side over here. We'll probably move our dirty water over to the side over here. We'll see how this works. Under here, we are going to have a bathtub just for spillage and things like that. So we don't want to lose any water underneath. So we're going to be... It's not a lot of water you're going to get through spillage and pipes breaking or anything like that, but I want that there just in case, because I don't want to lose any water. Water is like the most precious commodity. So yeah, that I think we're gonna do like about almost like this sort of. That's about right, like where this screen is, and then I'm gonna make the collection tank down here so I can just move this water much more easily. I could always throw a pump in here, not a big deal. So that looks like the plan. Basically, we're gonna have to move this water into this tank roughly. I'll move it. It's just easier if I can use gravity to quickly move it than to pump it, but pumping we can do. Oxygen power is going to be an issue in the beginning, so that's why I'm kind of like leery of it. So let's get right into it. This is our food bank. We have a little food to start with. This is our printing pod. These are called duplicates. They're actually 3D printed, I guess. Is that what we're saying? They're not actual people. They're like printed clones or whatever you want. So this is where all your new guys come from. So this, I'm going to have to get a couple of these. These actually produce the oxygen in the beginning before I start producing it myself. So that's important to not mine those up and make any dumb moves like that. So I make my columns 4 high. Let's figure this out here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, I don't have an agreed upon in my brain size, and I'm just trying to think like how big I want to make these. Is there a reason? So here's what we'll do: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're just gonna make a mark there. 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's gonna be 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is something I don't know. Like this is just something I very, very much do not know. I have not decided upon what my standard is. So we're going to have to get into that. Let's let these guys just start going. They're going to move very slowly here. Micromanage very much in the beginning. We're not going to go into the tooltips. I've got this. One of the first things we need to do is get a toilet and power. Now, see, these are the things. These are like those decisions early on that are very crucial that you want to be careful with. What is that? This is carbon dioxide. That's easily enough dealt with, but I don't really want to deal with that right now. So power production, I don't think I want to put my batteries and my treadmills in the same place, but that might be just something we have to deal with down the road. I don't know if we have the ability to deal with that right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to put a mark there so I know where that tunnel's going to be. Is that right? So it's going to be 8. It doesn't seem that big though. 7 and 14, and it's just, yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll do one more, because here's what we're going to do. That'll make it 20 each. Again, I don't know if that's good. Bigger, smaller is better. Just trying to think here. I want my middle column to be pretty large, because again, I'm going to put the oxygen kind of under the middle column, and then let the oxygen rise up. So it will be where I put my beds. It will be where I put those types of things, because it's going to be easy to flush oxygen through it, push all the bad stuff up. The idea, basically the overall premise of my base, I'm going to put oxygen down below, oxygen enzymers, I think they're called. What are they called? They're not even in here right now. I'm going to push oxygen up, and that's going to cause higher pressure down below, so that everything will go up. Hydrogen, of course, will settle at the top. And hoping as I push oxygen up through the middle, it will push the CO2 down off the sides. CO2 is heavier. It's going to want to collect at the bottom, and that's where I'm going to put my treatment stuff for them. Contaminated oxygen is a little trickier to deal with, so we'll get into that as the time gets there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Boom. All right, so that's going to be our platform. Let's try it. It's a 20 block platform. Let's see, okay? Let's see how this works out. We can always kind of change that around. We're not getting married to that, if you will. So right away, oh god, like that, I do that all the time in this game. I don't really know why. There's little ways to do it. I just am not good at it. Like if you just click the block down and then you use WASD, it'll move in a nice straight line. I don't think that's where I wanted to be though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, that is where we wanted to be. And so just so I can keep track, I don't have things for a ladder. Oh, that's right, because that's there. We're gonna dig that up. Again, the only reason I check this 8,000 times is because if I get this wrong, I'll be pretty upset. Why is 1, 2, 3? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. These guys are building, so I don't have the materials to make this stuff. As I open this up, that'll be good because that'll make oxygen produce a little bit better. We'll leave this plant in. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to be able to leave that plant in. I should have tried to leave that plant in. Just going to bring me a little bit of food. We got to get the plants up pretty quickly, too. Alright, so that ladder is going to bring me down here. That ladder is not really going to be usable. It'll get me in there, I guess. What's in here? Muckroot. Briar seed is not what I... No, briar seed is these. Oh. Mealwood. I want mealwood. I want to seek those out so that I can make farms. That's our goal here. Gonna put a ladder there. Boom. I've got... That's going to be kind of the basic foundation of our build. As we go down, we will eventually go up. I just don't want to deal with this just yet. Some vacuums, not a big deal. There's really nothing up here that I see. I might want to go get that guy. Okay. All right. Well, we'll deal with it. But right now we need to get a power production, and I guess we'll put the lavatories... I was going to say, I don't want to... Yeah, we'll put the lavatories over this side. This is where the dirty tank is going to go. So just in case there's some kind of terrible accident, we will have that. Hold on a sec. We don't want to do this. Another thing I'm going to experiment with here. Not sure how much I'm going to like it. But we're going to make 3 wide shafts. Again, I'm trying to do this all with circulation in mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoa. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why is that not look right? Because that's 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh. I'm overthinking it, guys. I'm trying so hard not to make a mistake in front of you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I got 20 middle. That's pretty good. So we'll do 20 main shaft, 10 here. We'll put like our support stuff on the side. We'll put storage on the side. Yes, that's going to be that. That ladder is going to move over to the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's going to be our power goes. Again, I'm trying to put ladders in the middle and stuff. They can jump 2 squares, I believe is what they could jump. So this is going to, again, let airflow go through there. It'll also make it easier for me to do like water pumps if I need, air pumps. I can actually see the pipes working. I like to be able to see the pipes working because then it really lets me know that air and water is pumping through that. It's working properly. If I can't see it, it can just be hard. You know, if it's buried in the floors, that's fine. It's actually better for the colonists as far as decor and stress and morale. But it's harder to just like quickly look at your base and identify a problem. So while these guys are doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of get them just digging some stuff out. I don't want to dig too big too early because then it's harder to get oxygen going in them. But we're going to wrap up episode 1. I know this was a lot of talk. It was long-winded. It was a lot of pause time. I apologize for that. It's just kind of a necessary evil. I think overall, if you're going to watch the whole series, you might enjoy it more if you know what I'm going for here. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If you haven't played this game, stick around, watch it. It's a really exciting game. You're always balancing on a knife edge. And I'm sure I'm going to mess some things up, but I think I can do it. I think right now our short-term, medium goal is going to be 100 cycles, sustainable colony, about 6 dupes. That's what they're called, duplicants. And get everything kind of set up by the 100 cycle. Once we get to the 100 cycle, then we're going to start looking towards shafting down to whatever this molten area is, seeing if we can't run those types of science experiments. If we find there are aliens, there are little aliens, I think there's 3 of them. They all do kind of slightly different things. We might be able to capture them, domesticate them, and use them to kind of scrub air, produce some slime and algae that we can use for other things. So there's little bits of ND game theory crafting and science experiments that we can do. So we're going to not really get into that until probably after 100 cycles or so. So hopefully we can get there. We can have some success. And as I expand here, we're going to start to see more and more of the map. And it's like rolling the dice and hope there's a little water there. Like I'm not seeing... See, hydrogen doesn't bother me as much. Chlorine's a little bit of a pain in the butt. But man, we're not seeing water. That's I would have hoped to have seen more. I mean, we've got a good stock of fresh water. That's good news. But none of the expansion has showed me. There's some contaminated water. I really need to start seeing some contaminated water. But we'll continue to explore a little bit next episode, guys. Thank you. I'm just going to stop recording, pick it right back up. You're not going to miss a minute in episode 2. Thank you for watching. Please hit that like button. Get this series started off on the right foot. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited to bring this to you guys. So hopefully you will enjoy it as much as I have. Otherwise, guys, have a great day, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.